On this edition of Talk Rodeo, we're catching up with a man that took the rodeo world by storm back in 2019, made it to his first national finals rodeo, won the world and won the average. Comes from Miles City, Montana. We're talking about tie-down roper Haven Meged. And, you know, Haven, it's kind of funny. Most world champions, after they get crowned as world champion, they get to go the next rodeo season with everybody saying, and now performing, you know, the 2019 world champion. That wasn't kind of a luxury for you, was it, last year?
Yeah, no, there was a lot of rodeos canceled last year compared to like what we are used to. I mean, they're all starting back up right now. I know this 4th of July is a lot more rodeos than we got to go last year, so it's kind of nice to get to be going back to everything. You know,
let's talk about last year. Of course, you made it to the national finals rodeo, and I'll get your take on how things were at Arlington too. But, you know, last year, everybody I've talked to really said that they had to travel more, compete for less, and it was like their rookie season. For you, that's kind of what you've been doing since you started.
Yeah. No, definitely. We drove, just one drive that sticks out in my head the most is Elko, Nevada to Wolf Point, Montana. That's just driving about as far as you can drive. We did a lot of those stupid drives. I mean, it felt like every time we got in the truck, it was 16 hours.
You know, go ahead.
An 8-hour drive felt short. I mean, heck, that was easy.
Yeah. And normally, you know, when you're going to a rodeo, you know, or got a weekend or 3-4 day rodeo, you can hit 3 or 4 rodeos. Sometimes you were driving that far to get one run.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It was definitely hard to rodeo last year. You know, going to all those rodeos. That was hard because you drove a long ways for one calf, and if you didn't go good, you felt like you got in the truck another 16 hours down the road, you'd run another one.
Well, we're talking with 2019 world champion tie-down roper Haven Meged here on the Talk Rodeo Hotline. You know, I've gotten everybody else's input on it, and I want to get your take. Of course, we competed at Arlington at Globe Life Field. It wasn't the Thomas and Mack we know, but give me your take on how things went at Arlington this year. Not how you performed, but just your overall feel for the rodeo.
You know, it's just a blessing to be able to get to have a national finals. We weren't sure that we were going to have one, so dang sure was nice, and we had equal money, the same as Vegas. So that was a blessing because there were some talks that they weren't going to have it or it was going to get canceled due to COVID. I mean, it cost us a lot of money to rodeo last year, so it was nice to be able to have an NFR where we could get some money back in our pockets and stuff. But as an overall deal, I mean, you know, it was good. Obviously, it's not Vegas. I don't know if there's another venue that's like Vegas. I feel like Arlington, if they got to pack the seats, I think it holds like 40 or 45,000 people. I feel like that would have been probably cooler than Vegas because, I mean, that's a lot of people and stuff. But it just felt real empty at the NFR because, I mean, that's a huge stadium, and I think they only allowed 17,000 people in there. So it just felt empty, and it didn't have the energy and stuff. But just like I said, we were really blessed to be able to get to have an NFR.
You know, give me your take as far as the setup for the shoots and everything from the ropers standpoint. I've talked to a lot of rough stock guys. What did the timed event people seem to think of the setup for the arena?
It was kind of tricky. I guess there was a lot of right, which I don't mind over there and stuff. But honestly, a lot of the kids kind of hugged that fence. We didn't think that. We thought a lot of them would more step off to the right for us. But you know, it was what it is, but we just kept going with it. And I mean, we didn't really have any choice. I'll bet the team ropers, I bet it was a little harder because them steers would hit and then they'd run up the rope because, I mean, they had a wide open field. They didn't see no fence or anything. So them steers got to kind of run in the rope and stuff. But like I said, we're just all lucky and we had to deal with what they gave us and had to try to win as much as possible.
Well, our guest here on Talk Rodeo is world champion tie-down roper Haven Meged. Let's talk about 2021. Of course, we see right at the beginning of the season, we lose Fort Worth, we lose Houston, we lose Denver and stuff. But, you know, thank God we've still got a bunch of rodeos. And now that we're through May, getting into June, July, it looks like we're going to have a pretty good rodeo season again, finally.
Yeah, there's lots of rodeos coming up. And I wish they'd just extend some of them days over the 4th of July till like June 5th or 6th to help us Cowboys get to all of them. We want to be at every rodeo we possibly can get to and stuff, and especially the ones that were there last year for us and through all the tough times. But we're just trying to get to as much as we can to support all the rodeos.
Now, as far, I know a lot of steer wrestlers travel together. Some team ropers obviously travel together. Do you travel with anybody when you're going up and down the road, or do you kind of just hit the road on your own?
No, I'm going to rodeo with Caleb Schmidt and Austin Atkinson this year. Go with those guys, and I'll try to make the NFR.
Well, of course, we're talking with Haven Meged here on Talk Rodeo. Of course, like I said, we're getting through May. We're into June, July, of course, August and stuff. Give me a little bit of a rundown, just kind of what your guys' schedule, because I know last year we had to pick and choose whatever we could find. This year, we're almost back to a normal schedule. So are you going to kind of get back to what you did in your rookie year and kind of what Caleb and those guys are used to doing in a summer run?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're entered up. I mean, all the Cody Open today, I mean, we're entered at St. Paul, Greeley, Reno right now. I mean, we got Springdale, Pecos, Prineville, Dickinson, Greeley, Prescott, Oakley, West Jordan. I mean, Red Lodge, Cody, Livingston, Belfouche. I mean, we've got a pile of rodeos on the list right now that we're planning on going to.
And it's so nice to be able to say that, isn't it? That you were entered here, we're entered here, compared to what we saw in 2020.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's talk about it a little bit, too. We know horsepower is so important in the tie-down rope. And talk about the horses, because, I mean, you really, what little I've seen you because of just the last couple of years that we've got to know you, but, I mean, you're always mounted really well. Talk about the horses you've got.
It's a huge blessing, the horsepower I got, honestly. Actually got them all. It's been so muddy down in Texas right now, and it's been raining, and I don't have an indoor, but I got all my good horses. I got my two good blacks. They're actually at the swimmer right now, staying in good shape. So just kind of keeping them really rodeo ready, since we haven't been getting to ride them and stuff. And I'm going to start riding them the second week of June down here at all the Texas rodeos. But my mare, she's phenomenal. She's a huge blessing in my life. And my big black gelding, he's come back. I haven't got to ride him for a while, and got to bring him back this winter and kind of just get to pick and choose where he gets to go, honestly. And then I'll have another, I got a 6-year-old sorrel gelding that'll haul out to a bunch of them. He'll kind of be more so my backup. My big black will kind of be, kind of just has to stay around the house. He can't really go on the long hauls day in and day out.
Well, Haven Meged, our guest here on Talk Rodeo, set number 11 in the world standings. I know that 11 is not where you want to be. You want to be moving up there and get into the, at least that top 5, or if not be number 1. But, once we get done with the regular season, done at the end of September, how nice is it going to be to finally go back to Las Vegas after being gone for a year and be able to go back into the mother church there at the Thomas and Mack?
Oh, I'm excited to go back there. I just hope and make it. We're going to give them we're going to go as hard as we can and not let off till we got the NFR made. That's what you got to do to make them and, have a successful summer out there. I mean, we're going to leave June 1st and we're going to be gone till, really we'll go to Pendleton, but then you got to go down to Salinas this year for the tour finale. So, I mean, we're out there pretty much for 4 months this year and don't get to come home.
Well, and of course, the other thing about the Thomas and Mack in Las Vegas is got to hold a fond spot for you. First time to the NFR, you win your first gold buckle and the average. So, I mean, that place is always going to hold a fond spot for you, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. They went and did a photo shoot the other day, all the 2020 world champions, and I was telling Chad the other day, I said I didn't get the chance to do that, and that looked like a really cool deal they got to do because of COVID and stuff. But there's nothing like the Thomas and Mack. It's just a childhood dream getting back in the box there. You walk out of that tight tunnel and there, boom, the lights are right there, the music's playing, the crowd's cheering, and when you throw your hands up in the air, there's nothing better than that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Haven, no doubt that you're going to be back there again this year. Always fun to watch you, and I'm sure I'll see you up and down the road because, like you said, you're going to be out on the road for about 4 months. That's the same thing for me. So I'm sure we'll cross paths out there. So stay safe, stay competitive, and we'll just keep in touch throughout the summertime.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Appreciate it, man.